Good morning. Good morning. I literally saw a thing that said something about my fan club. That'd be weird. But good morning. Oh, you know what would be helpful? If I swipe in that direction, the font turns larger so I can read your comments when you comment. That would be very helpful for me. But good morning. I just had some breakfast, so I hope I don't have any blueberry seeds in my teeth. I'm sure you'll tell me if I will, or I do rather. I'm proud of myself for having a healthy breakfast. I had some yogurt, good for the protein, good for the, what is that stuff? Calcium. Had some real live blueberries in them. Well, not live, but you know, fresh blueberries or not frozen. God, I got like old people food because I had like stuff with fiber in it too. So good morning. But I felt like it was good to start the day with some stuff in my tummy. And a bit of tea and my trusty sidekick of water here. Do you have a sidekick of water? Get yourself a sidekick of water today. And especially during this TikTok live, if you care to, you can play along with the game of, I bet Beth's going to say some words that she repeats a lot. So I'm going to pick one of those words. And every time she says it, I'm going to do a shot of water. It's almost like having a shot glass, right? So good morning. It is early, at least where I am, and I'm on the East Coast. So anybody else in any other kind of Western time zone, it may be even earlier for you. So I hope you're up. I hope you woke up organically today, that you might have had an alarm set on your phone or your clock or whatnot, but that you woke up a little bit before it so you didn't have to get rudely awakened by the dustman. I woke up really early this morning. I will share this with you. Way early, like 4 something. And I was up for a while, but I managed to fall back to sleep. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Every little bit of sleep you can get is good. So honestly, if you're just kind of hanging around in bed, listening to me go, gabba gabba, yo gabba gabba, that's okay. Waking up slowly, waking up and getting up out of bed at a time that feels right to you can be such an act of time control. There's been years of my life where I have had to get up in the morning when I'd rather stay in bed and had to get up because somebody else said I had to do something. Now I'm in the era of I can get up anytime I want to. The funny thing is then I'm the one who sets the schedule for this 7 a.m. Decluttered live. So hey, those of you who are on the Destination Decluttered or part of the email group, just as a heads up, I did send out an email somewhat late last night. Just some good stuff, and why wait until a certain time to send it? I like to just share it. So I just wanted to share with you, and most of the stuff that's in it, if it's one of those TLDR, too long, didn't read things, really simple. The secret page that we all have access to as part of the email group has been updated with all sorts of good stuff. So good morning. So good morning, TikTok user 1 and Catherine and Spreading Sunshine and Patty and Becky and Cheryl and Nay and G Harbor Gen X 69, Gen X in the house, me too. All sorts of people coming in. Welcome. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach here in the United States. And my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Destination because it's always good to have something to aim for, I find. And it kind of keeps you on track and it allows you to more easily make decisions, but we'll get into all that. I can't think if I was going to say something and then I don't know what it is because it's still early yet. It is. It is. So, how may you ask, do I help you with your clutter if I'm not in your home surrounded by your clutter? And I will share with you, I grew up in a cluttered home. I have cluttered a home myself for decades. And I have also helped people when they're trying to dig out of their own clutter. And really what I have found in my personal decades-long experience with stuff and clutter and collections and antiques and shopping, between that and personally and professionally, is that the stuff is almost secondary. The stuff itself, the physical objects, I do not need to be surrounded by the objects to help you with your clutter, because what really matters, what really is the thing, is the connection between the stuff you look at is connected to a thought in your head. A thought in your head is connected to a feeling you have. The feeling you have is connected to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone's connected to the shin bone. Sorry, I just had to say that because it cracked me up, and I'm always about cracking myself up. You see your stuff, you have a thought about it. The thought makes you feel a feeling. The feeling makes you do a thing, and the thing that you do, that thing you do, one of my favorite movies of all time, the thing you do gives you a result. I like to simplify that, but just saying it goes from your head to your heart to your hand, because action typically with decluttering is either hanging on to something or, on the lovely flip side, letting something go. Okay, there we go. Cat mama is feeding the cat and making the coffee and then off to the porch. Good stuff. What are you doing this morning? I hope you are enjoying this morning. I will share with you. I love the fact that there's very little humidity where I am right now at home, and we have the windows open. We don't have the air conditioning going. Now, the windows open is great also because we had painting done yesterday and it was kind of stinky. So I just want to remind you that there's a connection between what you see and what you think about what you see, and how you feel about what you think, and then what you do. So there's a connection there. But there's also a connection in, if you want to get going with decluttering or really anything, there is also a connection between your physical body and your nervous system, and how easily you can go from being stuck or stopped kind of in park or maybe whatever. And I use a road trip metaphor a lot. And I realize now, because I can't really see. You guys cannot easily see the road trip thing behind me. So I'm going to lift up my phone here. I forgot about that. So let me do this. Okay, so see this above me? I'm always talking about stuff in cars because, at least here in the US, pretty much everybody is so conversant with cars. We use the words of cars all the time. I ran out of gas. I was revving my engine. I couldn't find my way. I feel like I have a flat tire. That type of thing. So I say to you, if you want to make it easier for you to get started on any kind of project, but we usually hang out and talk about decluttering and decluttering projects, that there's definitely a connection between how you feel physically and how you feel energetically, emotionally. Like I call it my nervous system, or sometimes I'll just use the kind of the shortcut word heart, because that's where I feel stuff. You know, your head thinks, your heart feels, and your hands do. My God, somebody could write like a Schoolhouse Rock about that, huh? So I offer to you just a couple of things. You could write those things down. I will not be writing a book. I do one-on-one coaching with people, and I love that is my job. I have no interest in being a published author because I've already been a published author. I've written many books, and I love what I do. So I highly recommend. If you hear something that I say that resonates with you, please write it down. Take notes if you want. I don't mind, because it's just stuff that I have heard from somebody else that I've kind of swirled around in the Bethometer and made into words that make sense to my head. And my goal is to help you look at stuff in your life differently. And how you find out how to do that is by understanding words that make sense to you. Does that make sense? It's still early yet. I'm still, like, these are literally the first words that I have spoken in the morning. But yeah, please write them down. I don't mind it. I encourage note-taking. If you don't feel like it, if you're in bed and you're just sitting there with your cup of coffee or your tea, one thing I think is so cool is right now you and I, all of us, have a connection via the internet via TikTok right now, a live connection where we can chat back and forth. A recorded anything, a podcast, a video, a recorded video doesn't have that ability. A recorded video has its own benefits. You can stop it, slow it down, speed it up, put captions on it, rewind, all that kind of stuff. So that's a great place to take notes. So how about this? How about this? If there's something that's got you stuck clutter-wise, think about it for a moment. Just think about where you started, how far along you've gotten in any kind of decluttering of something, and where have you stopped? Have you stopped before you feel good about it? Have you gotten kind of stuck? Let's talk about that. Let's use this next, I'm here for about 45 minutes, 50 minutes. Actually, the clock just changed and I'm trying to do the math in my head, 48 minutes. Let's talk about that. Let's use this wonderful moment of human connectivity and interactivity to even helping one person with their clutter. It's kind of like I do one-on-one. I'm a decluttering life coach. Did I even introduce myself? I may not have. I'll do it now. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. I did, because I can hear myself talking about the destination. Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach. Okay, Mary R. says, I'm extremely stressed and stuck. Okay, first of all, Mary, I am sorry to hear that. But also, those two words that taste great together, stressed and stuck, usually do hang out together. Anytime you are stressed, you are often not moving forward in a direction that feels good to you. You may be stuck, or you may be like driving in circles. Again, kind of a metaphor. Here's what I want everybody to realize, including and especially Mary, but everybody can benefit from this. Before you start any project, even before you think of it and you say, oh my God, I'm stressed, let's deal with the stress first. Now, I can't deal with the root cause of the stress right now with you, but what I can do is I can give you a tool, as I like to call it my toolkit. Like I pretend this little train case behind me on the screen is a little tool case filled with tools. I open it up and the toolkit I want to offer to you is the word down. Okay, so I'm going to use it in two different ways, and feel free to play along at home. The first down I always like to talk about is, again, I like rhymes. I like things that make things easier to remember. So I start with the physical body, and I like to say from your crown on down, because it rhymes, the top of your head down to the bottoms of your toes. Take some deep breaths, exhale slowly, and just do a body scan. See if anything's out of whack. And if it is, do something about it. If you got to pee or poo, go pee or poo. If you're hungry, have something to eat. Drink some water, okay? Get your physical body feeling okay if it's really out of whack. But as you're doing this, breathe slowly and deeply, because the next one is where the stress tends to lie. To me, the stress is going to be in your nervous system, what I call your heart. So calming down, that's the other down. So crown on down for the physical body, and then calming down your nervous system so you feel less stressed. When you feel less stress, you can more easily create a plan and get started implementing that plan of decluttering. Okay? So at the very beginning, if you're extremely stressed and struck, even if you're not, it can never hurt to use these downs. Now, I say these in a different order because I'm live and I'm not referring to notes. It's just all up here and in here. Calming down your nervous system, bunch of different ways. I already said breathing down, slowing down your breath. How about sitting down? Shoulders down. Shoulders down, sitting down, breathing down. Quieting down your environment. Like I mentioned, I have the windows open. I may need to put the windows down because it's a little bit noisy out there because people are driving by going to work. I'm going to do that right now because I get easily distracted by noises. So while I do that, how about everybody, shoulders down, sit down, feet down on the ground. How about gaze your eyes softly down, staring down. breathing down and calming down your nervous system. I'm going to shut that, at least one of the windows. I'll be right back. I'm just going to slide over here. Whee! Okay, I'm sliding back in. All right? Do that for like a minute or two. It doesn't take that long. And notice that it can feel different. You can feel different. Now, as I said, I cannot deal necessarily with the root cause of your stress right now, but you can. So this is another down. A down is going to be writing it down. So I would offer to you, and you can share it, you can write it down in the comments if you like, but I highly recommend writing stuff down in a notebook, in a spiral bound, inexpensive, got it at Staples type of notebook. I'm actually doing a notebook training notebook party to show you exactly this process and to walk everybody through it this Saturday if you're interested, but I'll get into that later because I want to help you with your stress. Writing down what's stressing you out. Get it out of you. Get it out and down onto paper. Write down. Notice how many times I'm saying down. If you chose down as your shot word, you're probably hydrated already. Calm down your nervous system. Quiet down your nervous system. Calm down. Then write down. Write down the things that bug you. Get them out of you. They're like poison. Get them out and put them down on paper. And then we can play around with them. We can do something about it. Okay? You can miss those two steps. You can ignore what I say. It's totally up to you. But what I have found is that when I do those two steps, the next parts of my life go easier. I'm more easily able to write down what I want to do and what I have to do. The stuff that is bugging me, I can write those things down. I can chunk them down, and I can put them on my calendar and more easily get them done because I've written them down. So again, you can avoid those, but what you're going to find is when you're stressed, it's harder to start a project. It's harder to start anything. If you start a project when you're stressed, you may be more quick to run out of gas. You may be quick to anger. You may be frustrated during the process. And what I love to do, and this is why I, bopped my phone up here to show you this kind of road trip metaphor that's behind everything I do, literally and metaphorically. Good morning, Gina Lee, MA Realtor. I think of life like a road trip. Now, I have written books on actual road trips, okay? But what I mean is the vibe of moving forward, but not just moving forward in any direction, moving forward in a direction you're excited to go to. A road trip has a destination you're excited to go to. From Chicago to LA is Route 66. A cross-country road trip is typically, at least where I'm from the East Coast to the West Coast. Driving to the Cape, driving from where you are to wherever you love to be on vacation. That is a road trip. It's not a commute. A commute is somewhere you have to drive, but you're not particularly enthused to get to the destination. So this is why I call it Destination Decluttered, like Destination Wedding. If you don't know why you're doing something, let's figure it out. If there's no reason, if there's no good reason for you to do what you're doing, either let's make a good reason or maybe have you not do it. So that can be the decluttering. People think I have to declutter and it's such a chore. What are the benefits you get from living in a decluttered home? My God, I can just, let me count the ways. I love how my house looks. I love how easy it is to find things I'm looking for. Easy it is to use the thing I found because it's in good condition. And it's easy to put stuff away when I've used it. I love how it feels when I walk around my decluttered home. My eyes aren't overwhelmingly telling me stories of, oh my gosh, I have to do this and I have to do that and I don't like this and I don't like that. Pretty much everything I glance down on, I love, I like, I say I can do that, I say no big deal. And that creates a vibe in me that feels good. I like to feel good. Do you like to feel good? Decluttering your home, having a decluttered home feels good. And the act of decluttering your home and creating that home you want can feel good as well. That's the road trip part of it. Doing it in a way that feels good to you while you're moving ahead towards a direction, towards something you're excited to get to. So that's what a lot of that is all about. I hope that helps. If it doesn't, follow up. What did I miss? Okay. Gina Lee is saying, I was just thinking I need a yard sale. Do you think it's beneficial to just donate to be done? I will offer to you. I've done both. In the stage of life I am now, and maybe you are too, your time is something you'll never get back. You can make money in many ways in your life. There are many avenues. We're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue. There are many ways you can make money in your life. There are very few ways you can make time. And as I turn older in the next couple of weeks, I am more cognizant of the time I have in my life and how I spend that time. And what I have found is I would rather donate it, get a receipt, take that money off of my taxable income, and then save the literal hours and hours and hours and hours it will take to prep for a yard sale, to have the yard sale, and to break down and clean up after a yard sale. Okay? That's me. All right? Now, I am at a position in my life too where I know I can make money in other ways. If you aren't in that position and you really need the money, have a yard sale. Have a yard sale. But just before you start the yard sale, ask yourself how much you think you could make money. How much money you think you could make from all the stuff that you have, and then seriously, chop that amount of money in half. You'll be lucky to get what you think you want. All of the stuff will not sell, and people are going to haggle with you. So lower the bar on the money you think you're going to get, and then ask yourself, what's my hourly rate? Like, you can say, oh, I made $200 in my garage sale, but if it took me 20 hours to get ready for it, to identify the things, to price the things, to put them in the garage, to set up the garage, to have the sale, to break down the garage sale, to donate all the stuff that didn't sell, you may be making slightly more than minimum wage. I know you're worth more than that. Okay? So, Gina Lee, that's what I say, but I only offer. I do not insist or declare that what I say is right. I highly recommend you and everybody here run the words you hear from me through your own feelings and see if how that feels to you. And do what feels right to you. Okay? Do what feels good to you. But remember, we don't get any more time in life than what we've already have, and none of us know when we leave this mortal coil. So I am being more cognizant of how much time I have, where I spend it, and where I don't spend it. And I am focusing on quality and quantity with life, okay? Hey, Leslie. Leslie just says she signed up for Saturday's decluttering party, having time with friends to declutter. And if I'm not mistaken, let me see. Yeah, and we've got a notebook party to find out how to use the notebooks. Yes. There we go, Gina Lee. Notice, she says, yes, good point. I think I will just donate and be done. And then go to the beach. Yeah, and a yard sale doesn't feel good during the process. Only the end result, but I don't need the money. Yeah. Yeah, and notice, some people love the feeling of a yard sale. They want to connect with people and tell the stories of the stuff. I remember driving past a house in my town that I grew up in, and like every week the people would have a sale. Now, I'm sure it was because it was a way of making money, but I bet they liked the connection too. I don't like the feeling of it. It feels like a drag, as they would say back in the 60s. So I don't do it. I do anything else. And then you're tired once it's over. But trust your own gut and do what feels right to you. Okay? What's feeling right to me right now is kicking off my flip-flops because they're kind of sticky. There we go. Heidi says, I love my local Buy Nothing group. Give it all away. give it away, give it away, give it away now. Yeah, find a place that feels good to donate to and donate there. You know, German Maid likes hers too. Now, Gina, I am outside of Philadelphia, PA, but I grew up in Massachusetts. So you'll probably hear it in my voice. My Boston accent comes out in the weirdest of times. Also, because I moved out of Mass about 25 years ago. Crazy. Sometimes, and I did college radio too, so I have a weird kind of, my I's come out sometimes and then they don't. Sometimes people think I'm Canadian because I say the word about. If I'm speaking quickly, I'll say a boot. Go figure. And that was just my Mike Myers eyebrow, speaking of Canadians. Anywho, notice you have ideas of how to declutter. I've got a bunch of them. Okay, there we go. Okay, Heidi says my North Shore accent comes out when I'm tired, mad, or with family. Yeah, my Boston accent comes out when I am tired, drinking, or with family. Or when I used to live down at the beach in Delaware with my husband, I could listen to WBZ Radio 1030 and it would come back. Oh, okay. Yeah, totally, Gina. And you know what's funny is I saw the MA Realtor and I'm thinking she might be from Massachusetts. But yeah, drive down the Cape. Yeah, there's somebody out on TikTok who's saying, is it on the Cape or down the Cape or whatever? I'm like, oh yeah, you go down the Cape, but then when you're on the Cape, you're on the Cape. But I digress. For all of you, for the few of you who are not from Massachusetts, decluttering. You are doing the best you can with the skills you have. In everything in your life, you are doing as good a job as you can with the tools in your toolkit. You have an incomplete toolkit though. And I don't mean that as a diss or as, something not good. I just say that you may not have a full skill set for decluttering. I am here to help you fill in the missing pieces in your decluttering toolkit. Two of the tools we just talked about was the checking, doing a body scan, a crown on down, checking how you feel in your body, and not just once during the day and forget it. It would be like checking and saying, oh, I've got some gas in my car, and then driving around all day and never checking your gas tank, your gas gauge. No. Okay. But there's a way to declutter that feels better than maybe the way you're doing it now. Gina is asking, can you talk about the organized shelving unit behind you? Sure. I bought it from IKEA. If I had it, I will share with you. If I did not have that, all of this stuff would probably be piled on the floor, because there would be no structure to it. And I have grown up all my life collecting cool vintage things or antiques, going to Brimfield if you are, from Massachusetts, doing things like that. I also worked in visual merchandising, Pier 1, Filene's, Mikasa, things like that, and I've sold vintage things for a number of years in my past. And so some of the things that I've collected I have on display here. It makes my eyes happy when I see that. I like the colors, and I also store things in those little containers. Okay? So I have found a way that looks good, that brings me joy, but I can easily find what I'm looking for because I know where they are. Now, I will share with you completely, 100%, that this is something I had always wanted. I had seen decades ago a giant kind of square unit, shelving unit. And I thought that just looked so cool with one little vintage radio inside and another. That was in my collecting years. I offer to you, you may have the thought in your head, I just need more storage space for my stuff, and that would solve my clutter problem. What I offer to you is having too much storage just pushes your clutter problem down the road, okay? I know myself, if we were moving, like a lot of this stuff in here, frankly, is what we would have said when I worked in the publishing biz, kind of fluffed up. It's expanded so there aren't any gaps here. If I did not own this shelving unit with all of these gaps that needed to be filled, I probably could donate or sell or whatever some of the stuff in here. I don't necessarily need it all, but because I have this shelf, I keep it and I make good use out of it. Okay, so that's what that's like. Yeah, because here's the deal. Here's the deal with storage and clutter. Obviously, in the kind of grand process, the bigger process of creating a decluttered home, organizing and displaying, organizing and storing your merchandise is part of it. But organizing and displaying or storing comes after the decluttering. Because I already decided what I wanted and what I didn't want before I ever put it on here. Decluttering, here's a good one thing to write down. Decluttering is decision making. Decluttering is decision making. Deciding what you want and what you don't want. Deciding what brings you joy and what bums you out. Deciding how many dinner plates are too many and how many are the right amount for you. Now, I love it. Dig Art says, I cleaned out my whole life last fall. I can't even have 5 for dinner. I only kept service for 4. Yeah, and if you decided that there was somebody awesome that you wanted to include in your dinner thing, you would find a way. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, now Sweetie Jones says, I'm currently purging because I'm moving into just a room from living in a 1-bedroom apartment for 8 years. Yes. Notice the more space you have, the more storage space you have, the easier it is to avoid making the decisions of what you really want and what you really don't. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. I wanna, right? Anybody? Spice Girls? Hello? This is how my brain works. It cracks me up. Decluttering is deciding what is important to you at this point in your life. Decluttering is saying, yes, I may have loved that back in the day, but do I love it now? Decluttering is saying, I thought I was going to be a crafty person, or I was a craft person, but now I don't do crafts anymore. And getting comfortable with having more space. Now, Art says, I have empty closets, cabinets, and drawers. Being comfortable with space and not feeling like you have to cram everything in. Now, I don't mind empty closets or cabinets or drawers because that's what I would call stored clutter. But I know myself, if some of these spaces here behind me were empty, it would almost feel like missing teeth and it would look strange to me. There we go, Gina Lee. Nice to meet you. Everybody is on their own journey with stuff and clutter. Many of us grew up in homes that we didn't own a lot because it wasn't our home. Then we move out and we need to create our own home, and we have the first time in our lives get to choose what we want. Now, I have a different aesthetic taste than the parents I grew up with. And so it was a really kind of defining thing for me to decorate a house and collect things that reflected me versus them. It kind of helped me define who I was and what I did and where I shopped and where I got my stuff and the colors and the stories I told. Now, I did that for decades, well past the need to furnish a house. That's why I started selling mid-century stuff, because I really enjoyed that process of discovering and collecting and getting something on the cheap and all that. But then I had way too much for myself, and that's when I started selling it. That was fun for a while until it wasn't. And then I really had to say, okay, what do I want and what do I not want? And I love that Art says, I love not having shit everywhere. I love that feeling too. I like having good stuff where I want it. I love it when it is displayed well and things look good to me, you know? So I offer to you, tell me what you want, what you really, really want, you know? What do I want is probably one of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself. And even more powerful is to listen for your answer to that question and to write down that answer for the question. Now, this is why I'm a decluttering life coach, but it's all wrapped up. They are all intertwined. You cannot untwine your clutter from your life. Your clutter affects your life, and your life affects your clutter. How does your clutter affect your life? It affects how you feel when you're in the space where you tend to spend most of your time, which is your home. If your home doesn't make you feel good, it's making you feel not good. Now, there can be many reasons for that, but I work in clutter, so I like to say, let's start with the clutter first. Does the amount of stuff in your house make it easy to live or more difficult? Is it easy for you to immediately find what you're looking for, use it, and put it away? Is it easy for you to walk through a room and not trip on something, step on a Lego, stub your toe, fall over something? Okay? So ask yourself, are you making your life more difficult because of the stuff in your home? And if the answer is yes, no big deal. I can help you with it. Okay? How do I do that? I help you quiet down what I call, I say you have two voices in your head. Okay? You've got your backseat driver and your co-pilot. Again, just like you're in a car. This is how I roll. You have a backseat driver who's saying, no, don't do that. You can't do that. The negative voice in your head is a scared little kid in the backseat. But you also have, you may not know this, because maybe you won't only, because I know this for years. All I thought was I had one voice in my head, and it was the scared little voice in the backseat, and I listened to it, and I said to do what it said to do, and man, did my life not turn out good. When I quieted it down, I discovered I have another voice in my head. I call it my co-pilot. My co-pilot, which is like how I show up in your life, being, you can do this. What do you want to do? You tell me where you want to go, just like a co-pilot on a road trip. You tell me where you want to go, and I can help you get there. But we will be sitting here in park until you know kind of in the general direction you want to head. Yeah. So cluing into being wanting to even start the journey. I don't force anybody. This is the great thing. I show up for free doing TikTok lives and YouTube lives pretty much every day for an hour, 2 hours a day. There are close to 800 hour-long videos available for you to watch for free on the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. They're recordings of the TikToks and the YouTube lives. Listen to them like they're a podcast. I don't force anybody to declutter. I do not convince you to declutter. I just share with you the joy of, I know what it's like to be decluttered, and it feels so much better than when I had shit all around the place. I love also, because this is one of the things I teach when I do one-on-one coaching and even here on these lives, showing you an easy, repeatable process that isn't overly structured, but that you do not overwhelm yourself with the mundane tasks of running your home. You do your laundry, you get it done, you put it away. You do your dishes, you put them away, you make more dirty dishes, you clean them, you put them away. There are certain things that will be in cycles. Instead of railing against them and getting all frustrated about them, calming down your nervous system and realizing it's just part of your life and how lucky you are to even be able to do this stuff. So if you're willing, if you want to get on that journey but you don't know, I'm like a map maker. Map maker, make me a map. But you and I work together. Right now, you tell me where you want to go. I don't say go here. I say, where do you want to go? Because everybody's different. Everybody is different as far as the quality and quantity of stuff they have in their house, the style they have, how you got cluttered, how deeply cluttered you are, all of that. I think this is fun. Like literally, I would not be showing up at 7, well, it's already 7:40 Eastern time where I am. I would not be showing up talking into my phone at 7:40 in the morning on a beautiful sunny summer morning if I didn't truly love what I do and sincerely want to help the people who want to be helped. That's why I show up, to say, hey, if you're struggling, there's help over here. But I'm not going to pull it out of you. You participate. That's the great thing. That's the great thing about me not being in your house and helping you out just via Zoom or here on TikTok or YouTube. I cannot physically help you with it. That is a good thing, because you doing the stuff shows you can do things that previously you didn't know how to do or you were afraid of it. And also, frankly, from what's the word I want to use? Practicality perspective. Okay. Daughter's in-laws, says I Hairbow. My daughter's in-laws are hoarders. They are trying to de-hoard to move. Not going well. Suggestions, yes. Now, some people don't want to go past the surface of their life. They want to ignore what's going on underneath, and it shows. But I want to share with you, as I said earlier, and repetition is the way we learn things. And so I love repeating myself. There is a connection between what you see clutter-wise and a story in your head about it, and that story in your head makes you feel a certain way in your heart. So if your daughter's in-laws are hoarders, and the true sense of the word, let's say they were officially diagnosed with the DSM-5, there is something going on below the surface that makes it more of a struggle for them to let go of things. Even if they know they want to move, it could be a lifetime of looking at clutter, stuff, thinking about stuff a certain way, feeling a certain way about stuff. Many people, not everybody, so I cannot diagnose anybody, but I will offer from my own perspective, personally and professionally, many people who initially grew up in lack, without a lot, scarcity, grew up poor, have a connection to hanging on to stuff for fear they won't get it again. There can also be greedy people who say, I want it all and I don't want to share my stuff with anybody. Okay? So, El Herbo, just know that there's something going on underneath the surface. Meet them where they are at. And depending upon where you live, there are trained mental health professionals that are trained to help people with hoarding, because hoarding is a diagnosis in the DSM-5. So notice that there's something deeper than just throw it away. There can be trauma associated with clutter. Where many of us, did your mom throw away your dolls? Did your dad say you can't leave the house until you do your chores? There could be deep-rooted, there could be roots. Have some compassion for them, meet them where they're at, and be easily available to help them with what they are willing to part with. Okay? And then, read up more about, what you can do to help true hoarders. And also, if your daughter, you say your daughter-in-laws, maybe your daughter and your son-in-law, let them know I'm available to help them through this. I'm a resource. I am not a trained licensed mental health professional, but I am a certified life coach and a person with decades worth of experience in this. And I offer my services to help and not to hurt. So hope that helps. Okay. Now this is cool. Night Raven is asking how to get rid of old electronics, laptops, and tablets. Now this is great. As I was trying to help up here, Cat Mama offers, my town has a recycle program, and you just drive up and drop it in the appropriate box. Some people have that. She just got rid of a 40-inch TV. Okay. What I want to offer to you is it really depends, and this is the thing. I am here in suburban Pennsylvania. People are tuning in from literally all over the world, so the resources that are available to you will differ between state and where you are in a state. So I would say do some Googling. Like I know, for example, I live in what is called a borough, and no, that's not a little donkey. And so I go to like the town website, and I ask about recycling. They sometimes have electronics recycling events. You may have a Best Buy or a Staples near you that takes those types of things. So there are resources to do it. It's sometimes part of your time spent decluttering is going to be time spent finding out where around you can donate the things that you don't want anymore. There we go. Becky R. says if you live near Best Buy, they take certain electronics too. So again, it really will depend on where you live. But this is where I say spend 5 minutes maybe, doing some research, and you may be pleasantly surprised at the abundance of resources around you. Now, conversely, I have a client that I work with. As I said, I'm in suburban Pennsylvania. She's in rural Alabama. I don't think you would be surprised to know that she has far fewer resources around her than I do outside of a major metropolitan area. That being said, she needs to do different things to donate her stuff. So it depends on where you live, but there are answers. Yeah. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Now, I know where there are places local to me and local to my family to do it, but it really depends on where you live. Now, a couple of things, because we only have got about 14 minutes here. For anybody who's new, who's showing up, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. I do these TikTok lives and YouTube lives. I've got a YouTube live coming up later today. Okay, just checking the time. And there's an email group. There is a email list. I just sent an email out to everybody today. So if you're on the list, look for your email. And those people are the ones that have said, yes, I'm interested in what you're doing. It's a free email list. And I share a lot more cool resources with them. Now, the reason it's free, but the reason you sign up for the mailing list is this is one way to keep out like weirdos and mean people and just trolls. Because we do Zoom coachings together. We do declutter parties. I'm doing a notebook party this weekend. We've got a pen pal group. We've got a habit tracker. You get the schedule of when I do my TikTok lives and YouTube lives. So you can tune in kind of, as I call it, like the TV guide. Okay? And if you're interested in joining or just, getting some of that stuff for free, Veronica, perfect timing. I just remembered I should probably tell you how to join the group, right? Destination Decluttered is my website, destinationdecluttered.com, all one word. There's a link for it on the home page of my TikTok here, but destinationdecluttered.com. You show up there, you scroll to the bottom of the home page, and there's a form there that just says put your email address in here. Promise you're not a robot. Hit send, boom, you're done. You're on. You will get an automatic email that sends a link to a hidden page on the website where all these resources are available to you. Okay? And Leslie M. has gone to many of the declutter parties, and she says she loves to start the day with a party. Now, just so you know, Leslie, I don't know if you saw this, but I have also penciled in the parties for August. Now, as I have been saying since May, August is where we tend to, at least this August anyway, is when my husband and I are doing a bit of that. Let's pretend we are European, because my husband's a musician and he has some gigs that I'm going to be tagging along with. So I will not be around for basically the second half of August. But do not worry, because before then I will be available to you. Plenty of resources when I'm gone. Okay, so Pam Stone is asking, what's the notebook party? Here's what a notebook party is. So many times, and you would see this if you were watching previous emails. I haven't done it a lot today, but notice how earlier today I even said writing down what is bugging you, writing down the things you want to do, chunking down things. I do this in literally a 45-cent notebook that I get at Staples. Now, they're not always 45 cents, but it's back to school time. So if you've ever wanted to experiment with this process, very low barrier to entry monetarily. And I realized that I do kind of show people the process, because there is a process of how I do this. I show it very kind of informally and anecdotally throughout many of my lives. But somebody said, do you have a training course about how to use these? And I was like, I really don't. But I can do one. But I will share with you. Creating a time management training system makes me go run for the hills and yawn with boredom. But I said, well, you know what? We already do these decluttering parties. Why don't we have it be the same? You pay for your ticket, you get to the Zoom, and then we spend the time. And this is neat. We work together. I walk you through the steps to use this book for something, and ideally too, a third book for something, you show up and then we work together. It's not just me telling you and then after the class you do it. No, we stop and we spend the time and we work together. The great thing about it is it's going to be a Zoom and it's going to be live. And so while you're going through the process, you can raise your hand and ask a question. Yeah, now I have so many of those notebooks scribbling all my thoughts. Nothing wrong with that. This is a formula though. This is a way, a certain order of doing things that gives you the feeling of I know what to do with some of these thoughts regarding clutter, with where I spend my time, things like that. I know a lot of people are notebook people here because I coach people and I'm a notebook person myself. I have used this system for about 5 years now. It's something that I came up with, I experimented with, I've refined, I'm still creating it. I like feeling that it's alive and it can always be used for improvement. So I just want to be able to share it with you if you're interested in learning about it. So how you sign up for that is just like I said, make sure you're part of the email group. The email group has access to the secret page, and the secret page has the link to the ticket to sign up. And it's this, oh, you're welcome. And it's this Saturday, I will share this with you. It's this Saturday, July 26th. Can you see I'm trying to rely on my brain as opposed to just looking at the calendar? It's July 26th, this Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern to 1:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're unable to make it, 2 things. I'm going to do another one the following Sunday, August 2nd, same bat time, same bat channel. If you can't make either of those, but you still really want to learn this system, buy the ticket, and each one of those will be recorded. So you get access. If you show up to buy your ticket and show up to the party, you get access to the recording. If you buy the ticket, but you can't show up to the party, you still have access to the recorded training for 2 months. Now, the reason I say 2 months is I want you to be able to resource it. Sometimes if something's available forever, you'll say, oh, I'll get to it, and then you don't get to it. I know what that's like, okay? So, yay. So if you're looking forward to it, buy your tickets. It's on Zoom. It's not going to sell out because Zoom is, scalable. But I'm really excited about it. I really am. And the thing that I will share with you that I love about it, it's not like I'm going to show up and I have all the answers. We're going to work through it together. With you there, you can point out the points that I think I'm making sense, but it's not clear to you, so I can make it more clear for you and for other people. You will catch me where I realize there's a gap in my process. And then together, we will create one, fill in that gap. So that by the end of the party, you don't just walk around with a bunch of notes of what to do. You've done it. You will come out with kind of a list of things to do, a destination you're excited to get to, and a calendar. A calendar that you can fill out that helps you do these things on the day of the week and the time of day that feels easier for you to do it. I would not be sharing this with you unless I truly, sincerely could know that it would change your life, because it has changed mine. So that's what the notebook party is. Now it's a riff on the decluttering party because we have a few of those coming up, and I'm looking here. Monday, August. Oh well, we have a decluttering party earlier in the day on the 26th. Then Monday, August 4th. And Saturday, August 16th, we'll have one, and then I'm off the digital grid. A decluttering party is a similar thing. A Zoom call, you pay, all the money goes to a women's homeless shelter, but you pay your ticket, you show up on Zoom, and then you embody it. You do declutter with other people with support and community around you. You don't need to have your camera on, you don't even need to participate, but it's a fun way to meet up with people. And to realize that you're not the only person struggling with clutter, and that it can be easier when you feel like you're doing it kind of with people. So that's what a declutter party is. All of those things are available just to the people that are part of the Destination Decluttered email group. And if you want to join the group, it's free. Wicked easy. Go to destinationdecluttered.com and sign up. And I see a couple of you already have. If you have signed up and you don't receive the automatic email, your email system doesn't know that you're expecting an email from Beth at Destination Decluttered, so it may have trapped it in like a spam folder or something, so check your spam folder. If you check all your folders and you still haven't gotten something for me, I just told you my email address, beth@destinationdecluttered.com. Send me an email and say, hey, I signed up and I'm not getting emails. I will then be able to look in my back, behind the scenes to see if there's a reason on my end why you didn't get it, okay? I take care of my people. I really do. I show up when I say I'm going to show up. I problem solve because I'm here for you to make it easier for you to learn something that you just simply don't know yet. But you can learn because you're a smart person. I don't hang around with dummies. I hang around with smart people, and every single one of you can learn a better way to declutter that is more organic, more sustainable, more easy. And the cool thing is, I don't like to declutter any more than you do. It's a thing you do, but I want to help make it easier, get it done, learn how to live a decluttered life so you have so much more time to do the things that really bring you alive, okay? So that's what that's all about, and that's kind of what I'm all about. We've got about 3 minutes left here of today's TikTok Live. What else can I share with you? We do have a YouTube Live that's going to be today. It's a nice day, and I had been talking about doing a YouTube Live from the patio because we got some new patio furniture, and somebody wanted to see my patio furniture, so I am creating a statement today that today's YouTube Live is going to be done on the patio, and I'll give you just a quick show you my patio furniture. I'm wicked psyched about it. The other thing, too, is this TikTok Live, all my TikTok Lives and all my YouTube Lives are about an hour long, and they are recorded and uploaded to Destination Decluttered on YouTube. So if I am not around and you want a little encouragement, a podcast type of positivity and encouragement, and just, something in the background that reminds you can do this, listen to and watch any one of those videos. They're available for you for free. I say listen to them, though. You do not need to watch them. All you'll see is my face and my hands moving around and stuff. Listen to them while you are decluttering around your house. Listen to them while you're sitting down and taking notes. There is a wealth of information that's available to you that I have left for you, especially because I travel a lot and I'm not on live all the time, but I don't want to leave you high and dry. Okay, so I don't. I leave you with a library full of help. And putting something on in the background that reminds you you can do stuff can do a lot to quiet down that backseat driver of knowing you can't and fear, and turn up that's right, I can do this. And to remind you that you are not alone if you struggle with clutter. If I cared to, I'm sure I could write a thesis paper for a graduate degree, knowing damn well how we got into this decluttered mess. Post-World War II capitalist, late-stage capitalism. But how boring does that sound? Doesn't sound exciting enough for me, but what I say is you're not alone and it's not your fault. There's a way that you were brought up to think about stuff and buying things and keeping things and not letting go. But if you even just scratch the surface of that and you go level deeper, I just want to leave you with, even if that's the way you grew up and that's the way you are now, if you don't like it, you can change it. And if you don't know how to change it, that's okay. I'm here to help. All right? So as I sign off, I'm Beth, Destination Decluttered here on TikTok, destinationdecluttered.com. Sign up to join the email group. Destination Decluttered on YouTube. We're going to do a YouTube Live. Oh, that's August. I'm like, that's not when I'm doing it. I'm looking at my own calendar, see? What is it? Tuesday. Okay, yep. And you will find out. This is me being sneaky. The only way you can find out what time the YouTube Live is being part of the email group and checking the secret page for the what do you call it? The TV guide, okay? Participate in the learning of something new, and it will open up your world, okay? I hope this was helpful for you. I've kind of woken up. It's wicked nice out. I'm going to go take a walk, and I'll see you in a bit on YouTube. And nice to meet all the new people, and always a pleasure to see some friendly names in the comments, all right?